Hello and welcome to the unboxing of our first box set, Cosa Nostra. So the first thing you're going to notice is the obi is not quite as big as the box, and that was intentional so that we could take it off and put it inside the case, because as you'll see there's no way to actually keep the obi in place, unlike on a normal case where you've got it to be able to sit behind the sleeve. This is just going to fall off and flap in the wind, so we decided to make it shorter on our box set so that it can fit inside. So let's open it up and see how it looks. So the obi's loose, as I say, on the back secured with a sticker. Should peel off nice and easily. The back artwork, again taken from the poster, each of the titles matching spine, title and front title. Treatment, Franco Nero and 3 Mafia Tales by Damiano Damiani. And on the spine side we've got the 3 titles and the book as well, 120-page book. When designing these, I guess some of you will have noticed, didn't quite get this in line. The cutter grids for sleeves and the books are completely different, so lining these up was a bit of guesswork, and it looks like we were just a little bit out trying to work out how big these sort of bits of case actually are. Something to note for next time. So let's take it all out. So inside we've got the Day of the Owl, that's the back side, front side. Tried to get these to match as much as possible. And then inside, of course, you've got the reverse sleeve and the disc. This first one matching the obi, and then we differentiated as we went through, as you'll see, with the discs matching the posters as closely as possible. We didn't want to reuse the same obi colour for each one, because it just wouldn't have matched the artwork on the front here and on the menu, so we wanted to make it look as nice as possible in isolation, rather than sort of force a colour through. Again, you can see the artwork. And then the book as well, it's a real beast, 120 pages. Continue the obi colour on the inside of the end papers. We've got our usual credit screens for each of the films, a number of different essays. So we've got Andrew Nett on Leonardo Sciascia's The Day of the Owl, both the book and the novel, really interesting comparison. Credits, Piero Garofalo, who specialises in Italian cinema, fascist cinema, civic cinema. He's a really interesting essay on The Case Is Closed, Forget It. Paul A.J. Lewis really digs into the mafia and the representations of the mafia across the 3 films, really fascinating stuff. Shelley O'Brien really digs deep on the scores as well, really interesting in terms of how each of them represented musically, which is not what you would expect from sort of most Italian films, which have sort of big themes. These films are quite different, which I think really speaks to the auteurist qualities of Damiani. And then we've got an interview with Damiani from '73, newly translated for this release by Craig Keller from the French, from a French publication it was. Nathaniel Thompson, who you'll know from Mondo Digital, I expect. He does a wonderful essay on Franco Nero, taking in his whole career. And then we've got Marco Natoli, who contributes a very long essay, but fascinating one, on the whole cinema politico movement and Damiani's place within it. Really fascinating stuff. And then a critical overview across all the releases by Cullen Gallagher, the usual credits as well. Again, sort of designed in the normal Radiant style. And really good stuff. Booklet was produced by Cullen Gallagher. It's a great read, if I do say so myself. And then each of the discs were produced by Kat Ellinger, so we've got some lovely extras in here which probably actually better to see than the one I prepared earlier with the reverse sleeves. See them reverse sleeve slide. Italian for the first two, and then we had a poll for Day of the Hour as to what artwork should feature, and our members voted on our Discord to have the American poster where the film was called Mafia, which is quite cool. And we have a bit on the booklet about this gesture and how that appears in the film and in the subtitles. So it's a nice little one to link there. And the extras. So these are all 2K restorations. We did quite a lot of work on the cases closed. That was sort of almost like a raw scan, to be honest with you. So we did quite extensive work on that one. The Day of the Owl's a lovely master as it was. Each have little bits of work. We always do little bits on every master we receive. Franco Nero appears across each release. And we have a few archival pieces as well. So this nice one from 2006 with Nero and Ugo Piero and Lucio Trentini that give sort of background on how the film was made and everything. Euro cult, Poliziotteschi fans will recognise Mike Malloy, who does a wonderful piece on the period before the Poliziotteschi really took off and how this is sort of like a founding tenet of the evolution of that genre and how it basically developed on from this film. It's really interesting. And then Howard Berger does a very big video essay on Lee J. Cobb, his career transition from Hollywood to Italy and the kind of roles that he would play and how the legacy of his work really informed that. And he is actually really great in this film. Real standout role in his career, in his later career, I think. Claudia Cardinale is just such a wonderful presence, and I couldn't resist this interview in which she just sort of chats in the back of a taxi cab for a bizarre Belgian TV show, but really fascinating to hear her speak. She's not one that does many interviews, so that we obviously love to get her, but couldn't. So this was a nice alternative. She speaks about Visconti and Alain Delon and her career and how she started and everything. Really fascinating stuff. Each of them have new subtitles, both for English and Italian tracks, all newly done, and then reversible sleeves. And then we've got The Case is Closed, Forget It, again Franco Nero, archival documentary with Corrado Solari, assistant director Enrique Bergier and Antonio Siciliano, really talking about the behind the scenes, how everything came together, the casting process, all fascinating stuff. And then we've got a video essay by Rachel Nisbet on Damiani's career, going through blow by blow. Really fascinating stuff. Great to see his career looked at in this way. And then the subtitles, reversible sleeve, etc. as mentioned. And then we've got How to Kill a Judge. Again, we've got Franco Nero. And we've got a lovely piece with Alberto Pizzotta, who wrote the book on Damiani. Obviously a great expert. Great to hear from him, get the Italian perspective, how Damiani felt about his films, how they were received in Italy, and really get that kind of cultural viewpoint that we love to get on all these releases. That's really great. And then David Cairns does a video essay on the film, and it also sort of takes in the aesthetic view on how Damiani makes films as well. It's really interesting to see in visual terms, especially repeated shot styles and things like that. And he digs into that. It's really good. Subtitles, reversible sleeve, as mentioned. Region A and B across the whole set. Obviously, it's a UK and a US release. And that is Cosa Nostra. And as mentioned, wherever it's disappeared to, the Obi strip from the release will fit in your case however you choose to fold it. Choose to fold it the way it's come, or perhaps even a slightly less wide fold. Wider fold, I should say. And that will fit inside the case like your other releases, leaving everything to be able to be kept mint condition, unspoilt, no flapping papers. that's Cosa Nostra.